Boxing fans around the world, thank you for joining me once again here on Talkin Fight for another episode of Boxing News Today. And we're going to talk about some trickle-down effects in the world of boxing, starting off with the WBO, who has ordered a fight, and that has a trickle-down effect with respect to Shakur Stevenson. So here we go. The WBO World Championship Committee has ordered the commencement of negotiations for a clash between current WBO junior lightweight champion Emmanuel Navarrete and number 2 rated lightweight Denis Berinchyk for the vacant WBO lightweight title formerly held by Devin Haney. So the parties have 15 days to reach an agreement, and if accord is not reached within that time frame, first bid procedures will be ordered with a minimum acceptable bid of $150,000 US. So, as told to us in a great little article on, let's have a quick look here, boxing247.com, written by James Slater, very credible author in the world of boxing. You probably know him. The big boxing news story of the day, and not so much of that fight being ordered, but will Shakur Stevenson really retire at the age of 26 with so much ahead of him? So Slater's asking, do we really believe Shakur Stevenson, who posts on social media that he's now done? This is in the wake, of hearing that the WBO had ordered that fight between Navarrete and Berinchyk. Okay, so in the wake of hearing that, Shakur Stevenson goes to social media and announces retirement from the sport of boxing. But are we to believe him? Because, as Slater points out, Tyson Fury's retired, Teofimo Lopez has retired, and along comes Shakur Stevenson insisting he's done. But nobody really believes Stevenson, so including us here at Talkin Fight. So let's have a quick read here. Maybe the gifted, unbeaten southpaw will take a break from the ring. This as he continues to wait for the big fights with the likes of Vasily Lomachenko, George Kambosos winner, Tank Davis, and others. But he will be back, assures Slater. Stevenson's 21-0, by the way, will fight again. And one fight fan has already asked, what else would Stevenson do with his life? Sure, he could become a trainer, but with so much natural talent, Stevenson would be crazy to fail to fully realize it. What Stevenson wants and deserves is a fair shake, with his fellow elites agreeing to face him in the ring and with the promoters doing their utmost to make these fights happen. There may have been something that happened very recently that served to tick Shakur off. However, and that this is the reason he reflexively took to Twitter X to make his shock retirement announcement. Maybe this something was the news of how 3-weight champion Emmanuel Navarrete will fight Denis Berinchyk for the vacant WBO lightweight title, or the fight at least having been ordered by the WBO. Stevenson actually posted how news of this order fight is sickening. So, was this the last straw for Shakur? Maybe, says Slater, but only time will tell if Stevenson really does retire. But until he vacates his WBC 135-pound title, fans will, of course, remain hugely skeptical. Also, Stevenson has one fight left to honor with his deal with Top Rank. So let's see if Stevenson honors his one-fight deal and then continues on with his career as a free agent. So might be a big story today, but it's not really a story at all, in the words of Slater out of boxing247.com. Anyway, another story out of boxingnews24.com. Paulie Malignaggi and Tim Bradley over in the UK both doubt that Jaime Munguia will be picked by Canelo Alvarez in May for his debut on Amazon Prime pay-per-view. Malignaggi says undisputed super middleweight champion Canelo Alvarez doesn't fight Mexicans, and Munguia, 43-0, 34 knockouts, being that he's from Mexico, is automatically ruled out of the sweepstakes. Paulie notes that only exceptions Canelo has made in the past for fighting Mexican fighters were against Alfredo Angulo and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., neither of which were the greatest in shape career-wise when they fought him. Munguia, 27, is coming off a big ninth-round technical knockout win over John Ryder, as I announced the other day, over in Phoenix, and he looked quite impressive in that fight. That punching power, youthfulness, and volume that he brings into the ring, that's entertaining to the eye. That's what the fans want to see, said Tim Bradley about Jaime Munguia. However, Canelo is a technician, tactical, good defense. He knows how to break you down. that right hand would be there because Ryder couldn't miss with his right hook, said Bradley. Sounds like they're being a bit defensive. If Munguia is as reckless against Canelo as he did in the fight against Ryder, he'll get picked apart and likely be stopped. Munguia gets hit too easily, and Canelo has the power and counterpunching ability to make him miserable. You would think a guy would understand, I better keep my left hand up, but Munguia didn't. He doesn't care to eat punches in the face, said Bradley. It's entertaining, but if he continues to take that kind of punishment little by little, he'll start to break down. So why wouldn't Canelo fight him, I might ask. But the fact that he's 27 years old, he's strong, he's vibrant, he can bounce back, and he can take those shots, he's going to continue to move forward. I'd love to see him fight Canelo, but I doubt it. Why not? Here we go. Good name. We've often mentioned here when talking fight. Why not Christian Mabili? Or put him in the ring with Edgar Berlanga or even Benavidez, said Bradley. Berlanga is a realistic option for Munguia because his promoter, Eddie Hearn, wants to make that fight. So let's have a quick look and see what Eddie Hearn has to say, courtesy of BoxingScene.com. Eddie Hearn is well aware that Jaime Munguia multiplied his options and ascended into a higher tax bracket by stopping John Ryder in impressive fashion Saturday night. I might also add that Eddie Hearn is eating his words right now because he claimed Ryder would knock out Munguia. Hearn considers Canelo Alvarez and David Benavidez realistic potential opponents for Munguia now that he has this type of win against legitimate super middleweight contender of his record. Oh, really? If it were up to Hearn, however, he would match Munguia against Edgar Berlanga next. The British promoter, whose company Matchroom Boxing represents Berlanga, hopes to re-engage in negotiations with Oscar De La Hoya's Golden Boy to put together a Munguia-Berlanga bout. If Munguia doesn't land what would be a higher profile fights against Alvarez, 62-2, I might add, on May 4th, or Benavidez undefeated, 28-0, or on another date. Brooklyn's Berlanga, 21-0, also must beat Belfast Padraig McCrory, 18-0, on February 24th at Caribe Royal Orlando in Florida. But DAZN has exclusive content agreements with Golden Boy and Matchroom, and its executives have expressed interest in streaming the Munguia Berlanga to its subscribers. So let's see what happens. Hearn said, for me, I think Munguia has 2 or 3 really big fights out there for him. I mean, Benavidez' fight is a huge fight. Canelo Alvarez is a huge fight. Berlanga is Mexico against Puerto Rico. If Berlanga can look good on February 24th, and I think Munguia is a very exciting young fighter. He's 43-0, great style, and he's obviously not my decision. But if I had my way, it would be Edgar Berlanga. But Munguia has a lot of options ahead of him. So that goes on. All right, let's move along to the women. World champion Sandy Ryan will defend her WBO welterweight title against fellow Briton Terri Harper on the 23rd of March in Sheffield. That's part of that pre-announced Matchroom spring schedule that I'd mentioned a week or two ago. Ryan, 30 years old, makes a second defense of her belt as Harper, 27, aims to become a 3-division champion. In another fight, we're going to see undefeated Rhian Dixon in her first world title match in Manchester on the 13th of April, who will face Karen Karambajal for the WBO belt. So some good matchups coming our way in the women's divisions over in the UK. But it doesn't end there. I wanted to mention the New Zealand ladies who are fighting under Peach Boxing's brand. Peach Boxing, we've mentioned often here on Talkin Fight, mainly because of their brilliant work with Miyamoto. Mia's been on Talking Fight and interviewed by us many times, and deservedly so. She's a great champion and a great young lady and a great fighter. Anyway, out of New Zealand, we're going to see some more fights courtesy of Peach Boxing coming up. And I wanted to mention one coming up. It's called Lethal Ladies. It'll take place at the ABA Stadium on the 23rd of February. It's being promoted by Peach Boxing, and they'll showcase their amateur and professional boxing with the co-main event between Erin Walsh versus Sarah Bolotini and Emma Nesbitt versus Leti Nonavu. I want to just quickly mention Emma Nesbitt here. This is courtesy of our friends over at womenboxing.com and Sue Fox. Let's have a quick look at Nesbitt. Emma Nesbitt, yes. Emma Nesbitt competes in a variety of combat sports, including MMA, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, professional boxing, and many more. She's already won a variety of titles in combat sports, and now she's being trained over at Peach Boxing for both amateur and professional bouts. Prior to joining Peach, Nesbitt made her professional boxing debut in June 2023, where she fought Holly McMath, losing by unanimous decision. Since joining Peach, her in-ring skills have improved tremendously. Miyamoto cornered Nesbitt in her first fight under Peach Boxing in July 2023. That's probably where she came to the attention of Peach Boxing. Last November, Nesbitt returned to professional boxing when she fought Thailand's Quinchit Knyaja. One of the most notable things seen in the fight was the explosive body shots Nesbitt gave her opponent throughout the 4 rounds. Nesbitt won the fight handily by unanimous decision, achieving her first professional boxing win. Isaac Peach stated that Nesbitt is young and in 2024 will be a big learning year for her as she progresses through professional boxing. Good stuff for Nesbitt. We really look forward to seeing these young women out of New Zealand, and of course, young women also coming out of Australia as well. For my final story of the day, let's mention a great book that's just been released, written by Malissa Smith, who's also been interviewed here on Talkin Fight by, I believe, Brooke Deerdorf. Let's have a quick look here. The story reads, a timely exploration of modern women's boxing from its first inclusion in the 2012 Olympics to today, featuring such trailblazers as Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano, Clarissa Shields, and more. On April 30th, 2022, the first boxing super fight of the era, headlined by 2 women, fought at Madison Square Garden, lived up to its hype and then some. The 2 contestants fought the battle of their lives in front of a sold-out crowd and garnering 1.5 million views through online streaming, and it would be the culmination of a long 3 centuries and women's boxing history, a history fought with highs and lows, but always imbued with the heart and passion of the women who fought. Fantastic stuff. The book's called The Promise of Women's Boxing, and as you all know in Talkin Fight, we are proud promoters of women in the ring, and constantly are telling you who's up and coming, and also mentioning the results when champions go toe-to-toe as well. And not only in UK and US or Canada, but around the world. We love to hear their stories, so please feel free to contact us and send them their stories from wherever you are in the world. I'd like to thank you for joining me today here on Talkin Fight. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we'll see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Time.